obviously nutrition is massively important. And it's also one of those things, healthier eating has just such a long list of benefits. It's absolutely ridiculous. Especially if you take someone who eats like, the standard American diet style, so lots of processed food and so on. It is almost comical how, give them a bit of spinach or something and just immediately like blood pressure goes down and just everything improves just so dramatically, right? So the body is just starving for something, for actual food, right? Just immediately they come back alive, right?
They're human again.
Yeah. So, but the question is, obviously, again, there's nothing new, right? So maybe you're not aware of how dramatic it is, but I'm sure everybody knows, yes, healthy food would be better. So, but how do we make this practical? So here I actually have two different suggestions for two types of listeners. So your situation right now is either that your diet overall is basically a mess. So you are eating unhealthy processed foods, you're probably grabbing snacks on the way to somewhere. And you basically know, well, this is bad, right? I'm constantly having like snacks and shawarmas and hamburgers and French fries and ice cream. And I can see that this is a problem, right? So how do you optimize from there? And the second situation is if you're not that person, if you're like, no, my diet is okay, I eat at least as much healthy food as unhealthy food. Or maybe even I eat mostly healthy food. Like, how do I optimize from there? In both cases, I have a recommendation of like a very simple intervention. So the first case is your diet is a complete mess. How do you fix this? So what not to do is don't go on some restrictive diet. But you probably don't need me to tell you that because you've probably tried that about 100 times and it didn't work. So next time, it's also not going to work. So what do you do instead? Start having green smoothies. Okay, this is the simplest, highest leverage intervention you can do. Start having green smoothies. So let me clarify what I mean by a green smoothie. You get a blender. If you don't already have one, you get a big blender. Don't get one of those wimpy, bullet makes one tiny portion blenders. Get like a big blender. And a green smoothie is when you basically you fill that entire thing up with spinach. And that then blends down into not that much, but the whole thing is filled up with spinach or other leafy greens. And then you add some other stuff. So here's just a very basic recommendation for like a basic green smoothie, right? So you fill the whole thing up with spinach. You add 1 or 2 bananas, like 1 big banana or 2 smaller bananas. Those are pretty important for like sweetness and texture. And then you add, maybe you chuck in a carrot. That's a pretty good way, especially if you don't like carrots. You won't even notice it's there, but it's very nutritious. So, and then you add some frozen berries. That's one of the easiest. Like if you just buy huge, in bulk, you can get frozen berries. Berries are unbelievably nutritious. It's also one of those foods that's just like off the charts how good they are for you. So throw in some berries, and then beyond that, you add, so definitely add some seeds or something. So flaxseed, chia seed, maybe throw in some nuts. And then you can add some superfood stuff in small quantities. Maybe add a bit of protein powder if you want extra protein. You can add, whatever, like chlorella, reishi, mushroom powder, stuff like that, right?
Or turmeric. If you're going to add turmeric, be careful. Because I took Shane's advice with this apprenticeship thing, and I just put spoon after spoon of turmeric in this smoothie.
Yeah.
And I was like, bleh. It was the most bitter thing. I just wasn't prepared for it. I was like, is it meant to taste this awful?
No. Also add cinnamon. That's a good one. That's one you can add a lot of. But yeah, turmeric and most of this stuff like turmeric, chlorella, and powdered mushrooms and stuff like that is all great for you. But add like 1 small spoon. Because you want it to disappear in the mix rather than just be, oh my God, what am I drinking? So, but the point is, so then you blend that all up with your favorite plant milk, and you can test different things. I recommend you can also use milk, but there's some downsides. Like most people don't react well to dairy, right? And even if you're not lactose intolerant, it's like still, dairy is just a problem for most people. So you're probably better off not using it. It's better to use a plant milk. It's better to use that than water. It generally just makes the smoothie more palatable. So you blend all that up, and then you have a big jug of this smoothie. And the thing is, And it'll take a bit of experimentation, but you can make this taste really good, right? So I'm talking about something that this is not going to be a chore to drink. This tastes like a tasty smoothie. And here are the reasons why I recommend doing this. So the first is that this is an absolute nutrition bomb. And I also want to address something because some people might balk at some of the recommendations I'm making here. For example, banana, banana is sugary. This is bad for you for this and that and the other reason. Listen, I'm talking to someone whose diet is a mess. This smoothie with 2 bananas in it is 1,000 times healthier than this smoothie with 2 bananas in it is 1,000 times healthier than about 90% of what you can buy in a supermarket, right? Yes, we can discuss about whether bananas are problematic or not. This forget about it, okay? Have a smoothie that tastes good and don't worry about the bananas, all right? Because what we're doing here is we are giving ourselves a nutrition bomb that contains loads and loads of stuff that is usually missing in our diet, which includes, fiber, lots and lots of fiber in this smoothie, but also includes just all kinds of micronutrients. And it's all from whole foods. And the thing is that, so if you track your food, which if you do that, by the way, I recommend that you use the Chronometer app, which is an app that gives you not just like the macro nutrition, but also the micronutrition breakdown of everything you eat. And that's one of the things where you'll see one of these smoothies just maxes or gives you the daily recommended dose of so many micronutrients. It's unbelievable. And there's basically nothing else you can eat that does that, And so literally, a smoothie like this, for someone who's on the standard American diet, a smoothie like this contains more valuable nutrition than what they get in weeks of eating, right?